Hi guys, welcome to my channel Cooking with Freddie, and today we will be making homemade hibachi. Alright, here I have some boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I could not find chicken breast. This is the time of quarantine, but that will do. And I have some top sirloin boneless steak. Any type of steak will do as long as it's boneless. So now what I'm going to do is to clean the chicken. I'm going to remove all that excess fat from the chicken. We don't need that excess fat. I don't like it being on my chicken, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove it. We are not going to be able to remove all the excess fat, like every little bitty piece of it, but we're just going to do our best to remove everything that we can. All right, and I'm going to do that to every single piece of my chicken. Now that I'm done removing that excess fat, I'm just going to go ahead and clean my chicken with some lime juice, some salt, and some vinegar. And I'm just going to maneuver it all around to make sure each piece gets some of that. Then you could let it sit for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then you're gonna wash the chicken. Now when I'm done washing the chicken, I'm just taking it and patting it dry because I want it to be as dry as I can get it. And then I'm going to cut my chicken into small pieces. Remember, hibachi, you always have small pieces, so you're just gonna go ahead and chop that up into small pieces. You're gonna chop it up this way, and then we're gonna flip it and we're gonna chop it some more. You could chop it as thick as you like or as thin as you like, but I want it to be like medium, not too thin, but not too thick. All right, and there I'm done chopping up all my chicken. I'm moving on to the steak, and I'm going to do the same thing to the steak. I'm going to cut it into small cubes. So I'm gonna cut it this way first, and I'm gonna flip it, and then I'm gonna cut it some more. Now I'm going to clean my meat. I'm going to clean it with lime juice and vinegar and some salt. If you don't want to clean your meat, child, and you just want to go ahead and put it straight on the stove, then that's you, honey. This is a judge-free zone. I'm not judging you because you cook your food a little bit differently. But here, I'm just showing you how I do mine, and I do clean my meat. All right. After I let it sit for about 10 to 15 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and rinse it off. And then I'm going to take them and squeeze them, try to get all that excess water out. And I'm going to put it in a different container. Now that I'm done with that, I'm moving on to the shrimp. The shrimp, I'm going to clean it a little bit different. I'm just going to use lime juice and maneuver that all around. And then I'm going to let it sit for about 10 minutes. And then I'm going to wash it off. And there we have it. We have our meats. We have our shrimp, our steak, and we have our chicken. Now we're moving on to the veggies. Right here I have some zucchini that I washed off, and I'm going to slit it down the middle, and then I'm going to take each of them and cut them down the middle one more time, and then I'm going to cut them into cube size. You can cut them as thick as you like or as thin as you like. It's your food, so it's up to you, baby. Do what you want to do. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and do that to all of my zucchinis. And for the broccoli, I feel like the broccoli pieces are just way too big, so I'm just going to cut them up into smaller pieces. Remember, if you don't like broccoli or anything I put in here, you don't have to add it. It's your food. You can make yours the way you want to, okay? And now I'm moving on to my onions. I don't want the pieces to be too big nor too small, so that's why I'm cutting it the way that you see. I'm just going to take the onion and 1, 2, and 1 down the middle. That's the perfect size that I want them to be. Now I have this pan on the stove, and when it got hot, I went ahead and added some sesame oil. After adding the sesame oil, I went ahead and let it get hot, and now I'm adding my peas and carrots. You guys, let me tell you how I almost paid $20 for these peas and carrots. Yes, baby, I said $20. I was already had paid. Left was at another store. When I checked my receipt, I see it said $20 for peas and carrots. Man, I couldn't get back to that stove fast enough. I had to put my foot on that. Got zoom. And they were very nice. I let them know what went on. They charged me for 6 peas and carrots when I only had 1. And they did end up refunding me my money. So moral to the story, you guys, check your receipts, all right? Because who's paying $20 for peas and carrots? Alright, and then I'm just going to go ahead and add some white rice that I cooked the night before. When making hibachi, you cannot use fresh rice or you will have a mushy mess. So you have to use rice that was previously cooked. So now I'm just going to go ahead and marry the peas and carrots and the white rice together. And in a separate pan, I am going to make some scrambled eggs. These are just regular basic scrambled eggs. You can add some salt and pepper to them if you like, and if not, then don't, because the rice already has a lot of seasoning. So now we're just going to add the scrambled eggs into the rice, and then we're going to marry them. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and add some soy sauce to that rice. We're going to put a lot of soy sauce because I have a lot of rice, alright? So we're just going to put that soy sauce everywhere, and then we're going to marry them. We're just going to mix it, and make sure all the rice gets some of that soy sauce. When making this, you guys, please allow the rice some time to cook because it do have to reheat up, because remember, this is cold rice from the night before. All right, and then when we're done with the rice, we're gonna move on to the chicken. You can use a cast iron or you can use a frying pan. All I'm doing is adding my chicken to the cast iron. I did add some sesame oil to the cast iron. After I let my chicken cook for a little bit, I'm going to put some teriyaki sauce in a separate bowl, and then I'm going to go ahead and add some brown sugar, and I'm just going to go ahead and mix that up. Then I'm going to take that mix up teriyaki sauce that I just made, and I'm going to pour it over my chicken, and I'm going to let that cook. Alright, and now I'm just going to go ahead and marry the teriyaki sauce and chicken together. Make sure every piece of that chicken gets some of that teriyaki sauce. Yes. Alright, and I'm going to let it cook. I'm just going to let it keep thickening and thickening until the teriyaki sauce is like almost gone all the way in the pan. And then that's how I will know my chicken is done. Alright, I did go ahead and wash my cast iron when the chicken was done, and I'm going ahead and adding some sesame oil, and then I'm gonna let it get hot and add the steak. Alright, and we want our steak to sizzle, not boil. So I feel like there's too much water, so I'm just gonna go ahead and remove the excess water from the steak. And it's better to do this in a separate container like this than over the sink, just in case some pieces fall. All right, now we're just putting that back on the stove and we're letting it cook. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add some garlic butter to my steak to give it some good flavor. And then I'm going to add some soy sauce. And after the soy sauce, I'm going to add a little bit of salt because I felt like it still lacked a little bit of flavor. So I'm going to add some salt, and I'm going to add some garlic powder. You could add whatever you want to yours. All right, and now that our steak is sizzling, yes, and looking good. I like mine's well done, so I cooked it well done, and it is done. And I'm going to go ahead and put it underneath the stove with the other food that I have in a container. Now, I did not wash my cast iron this time. I just put it straight on the stove, and now I'm just adding my shrimp. And I also added some garlic butter to that shrimp, and I'm going to go ahead and marry that shrimp with the garlic butter and make sure every piece of shrimp gets some of that garlic butter. Then I'm going to go ahead and add some soy sauce to give it a little bit more flavor. And now that our shrimp is done cooking, I'm just going to go ahead and take it and add it to the rest of the food that I have underneath the stove. And then I'm going to place my cast iron back on the stove, and I'm going to add my vegetables. So here I have the zucchini, I have broccoli, and I have the onions. And I'm just gonna go ahead and maneuver them around to make sure each of them touch the skillet and they get to cook. All right, you could cook yours as well as you want to, or as al dente as you want to. It's up to you. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and add some soy sauce to give those vegetables some flavor. And then I'm going to marry the soy sauce with the vegetables to make sure that all of them get some of that soy sauce, okay? And there we have it, homemade hibachi. Yes, isn't it a beauty? We have our shrimp, we have our steak, we have our teriyaki chicken, and we have our vegetables, and we have our rice. Yes, this is just so beautiful. Let's just give this beautiful plate of food a moment of silence for the beauty that it holds. This is the sauce that I use for my yum yum sauce. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button for more videos.